All right, I think we're live. If you guys hear me, hey, say hi in the comments, okay? I'm broadcasting today to YouTube and to Facebook, so this is kind of a first. See if we can make this work, okay? And if not, we learn from it and we do better next time. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I know the Northeast was rained out, and I happened to be up there too. But I was, I had to work, so it's okay with me. It was all good. Hold up here. Let me remove a comment. Okay. So you can see me and hear me, and that makes me happy. So we're good to go. Hello, NS. God bless you, girl. Um, I don't know where to start really, except for today. I just saw that. We'll go over headlines first, okay? I saw that Israel, I don't know how you call it, the cabinet or their Congress and their parties. Well, the parties all got together to vote out the president. And that's going to go to their Congress or their version of a Congress in the next few days or next week. So their president, Netanyahu, who's been there, thank you, Ines, who's been there for 12 years, is getting the boot. And it's not through elections. The parties got together and that's it. Can we count it as a revolution? And this is a country that was almost at war a week ago. Hey, right? At least it's not us. I think we all remember a year from now where we're at, and we don't want to go back there again. It'd just be nice to have some peace for a long time and some food. All right, we'll touch on that in a little bit, and that's it, man. And just trying to survive and thrive, and have a barbecue, chill out, be at peace, enjoy what we have today, not worry so much about in the future. Okay. So feel free to throw in your comments as I go along. But let's talk about some more headlines. Hey, right before I went live, you know how they had that meat processor that was hacked and 20% of all its function was halted. So that's 20% of the beef and pork products in this country and in some places around the world. Well, it looks like they resolved the hack and they're going to be going fully operational as soon as possible. So again, here's a situation where hackers, I'm not going to say what country they're from because we really don't know. When you get into this game, most guys who are programmers or IT guys or guys that are internet savvy, it's so easy to master stuff. And then with the state of modern warfare, who really knows who's doing what? It's just what they want to show you. We're not a political show, so we're not going to go further on that. But what else is in the news today? The meat processor, okay. Housing, craziness still going on. Hopefully you're not having to buy a house. Hopefully you're not having to go out there and try to compete with these guys that have all cash. They're winning all these offers. And that you don't have to get out there and buy a house when you don't really have the means. You know what I mean? That you're not selling out your future by becoming, house poor? Guys, one thing I really learned in the past about this game, and I've probably bought and sold around 10 houses in my lifetime. So I'm not a big guy, and I wasn't trying to be. It's just life, right? Circumstances. I remember when I had my first house, it was because I couldn't afford to rent one, right? This is back in '88. And it was $1,000 house, in a real rough neighborhood. But it was cheaper paying that $1,000. That's it. And paying the low property taxes in my broke town than having to pay somebody rent. So, luckily I saw the logic in that, but it was more just I was forced into the necessity of that. And I worry for you people out there that are that have decided right now is the time to buy a house. And look, it may be the way inflation is going, having what they call an equity, which is a house or stocks, silver, gold, precious metals, that is a hedge against inflation. So if you get now, and inflation is running what, 10, 15, depending on what you're buying, 25%, 10% on some things, you know, that is a hedge against inflation a lot of the times, not all the time. And it's probably looks to me, because I actually was talking to my realtor today, and I feel confident. I hate to say that this is not advice. Okay, I'm not a investment, advisor of any type. I'm just telling you what happened to me, what I do, give you a little insight into how I think, and if any of that can help you. But if it hurts you, don't come at me, man. I'm not holding a gun to your head. All right, I'm just spitting out my experience. But I told my realtor today, I think the market has legs, which means I think this situation is going to go on for a lot longer. So I don't have to rush any moves. Of course, my agent's busy, 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 busy as hell. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean they're making more money, because if each house they're selling, they're getting 20 to 40 or 50 offers, then you got to process those offers. And if you got a client, he's got to look at, 4 or 5 houses and make an offer each time just to hopefully win one. Your agent's super busy. That doesn't mean they're making more money. And remember, we went over that chart a couple of weeks ago where we have the most real estate agents right now, like in history, it's hit that peak or close, or that second time that's hit the highest or the second highest peak. Doesn't mean they're making money, guys. There's no supply. All right. So, it's funny because I've decided to develop a course in this, and I started it off like a couple of years ago, and I was looking today for the files, but I have a course somewhat fleshed out on how to get a home. And let me tell you guys, most of the time, and I'm not going to make this a big part of the show. I'm going to start with soon, but I usually get my houses when no one else is getting a house. And then you figure, well, I may not be ready at the times. Let me tell you, you're just as ready at a time like this as a time when nobody wants to buy something. Same thing when I bought my car over 2.5 years ago. In fact, we're probably almost to the 3-year mark already. It's a hybrid. Who wanted a hybrid 3 years ago? No one. You didn't want to pay the few $1,000s extra, and they were out there to be had like crazy. And this is my second hybrid, so I knew the benefits of a first one, and I got it. And let me tell you, man, for like the last 4 months, I've been getting letters from Toyota. They're like, "Hey, you can get the New Year's edition. Just come in. You don't have to pay $1 more, but they're going to extend you for 2 more years." So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm like 3 years, almost 3 years paid off on my hybrid. I don't want to get back into another 4-year note, but they keep sending me emails. They keep sending me letters because they want that car to sell back into the market. And then I take the hit and I get out of here. Guys, if you don't learn anything tonight, best thing to do is, if you're able to, is to buy a car, whether it's new or used, probably, something with a great history of maintenance, like something that you don't have to put hardly any money into it, and just pay that sucker off and drive it for at least 10 years, and if you can do that, man, give yourself a badge of honor for that, because that's what smart people do. It's a book that I was going to show you guys later on. I actually bought this at a jewelry store in Medford, New Jersey, when I was buying a ring for my ex-wife a long time ago. The guy's daughter wrote this book. And it's kind of cool because it's kind of a lot of stuff that I already knew, but you find a few things here and there. They're like, oh, okay, I can do that to save money. I could do that to pinch a penny, make a penny scream even louder, And I'm like, okay, I'm glad somebody else thinks like me and wrote a book. A smart young woman wrote a book about it. It's Frugillionaire, Frugillionaire, maybe, I don't know, by Francine Joy. I don't get any pennies from this or dollars, all right? But hey, man, birds of a feather, right? We save money together. So that's on that on the housing, only because I'm in it. This it's real, and guys, if you can hold off, and there's so many other ways than just having to buy a house on the market, a regular house, you know. But we'll cover that in the future, as I'm probably going to be setting up probably by next week a separate live cast for that in a separate channel. Other things in the news. Gas went over $70 a barrel. You know, some of these economic things, guys, I know you may think, hey, they don't really apply to you, whatever. You don't want to go that deep. I'm going to try to keep it topical. But $70 a barrel is kind of like a multi-year high. So that means you're going to be paying more at the pump. So sorry, no, we don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but just keep that in mind as you plan your summer out, vacations, whatever. Going back to work for a lot of people. All right, what we got next? Inflation. I think I touched on inflation. Inflation's everywhere. I think by now we're becoming experts on inflation, as you see the prices go up every time you go to the market. I went to the market earlier today, and what did I see? Went up 25%. Why are they sticking to this number? Oh, but what they did that was kind of cute, and I computed it. They shrunk it and they raised the price to make it around 25%. So I'm like, okay, these guys are using two different methods to get that 25%. Did I get it? No. I put it back on the shelf. I'm still on my 25% protest. All right. And I saw a crazy price. I saw prime steak was $20.99 a pound, man. I just stared at that. I was like, wow. Because this supermarket usually doesn't carry anything like that, but that's what they usually carry, and that's the price now. I walked on by on that one. Okay, I got a lot of tuna fish hanging around. But anyway, I actually put out some chicken yesterday, some fried. I had some Spanish, Puerto Rican ajo con pollo that I didn't cook. I just had the broth and everything. Man, I just threw the rice in there, a little veggie, and that came out perfect. So I didn't have to even pay for any meat for yesterday's meal. It's already prepaid. What else we got, guys? Come on. Hey, and don't be afraid. You could type in a comment, a suggestion into the box if there's something you want me to chat on or you want us all to chat on. If you need a question answered, we can do that. Before I get on to what's really, man, been exciting me. Now, I had to drive. I actually drove to the Northeast, man. 18 hours, 1,168 miles from my house to the Philadelphia area and back. I had to do it because I didn't trust that I was going to get a rental car. Stuff is sketchy. Plus, I had to move some items anyway from property to have over there. So when I got back, man, I kind of just wanted to chill all weekend. I got back late Saturday night. But man, I went on. Of course, I went on my annual binges. Band of Brothers. I do it every year, man, just to keep it real. Serious. So I don't get so lackadaisical about the price of freedom. About when we get to war, man, the real price that these young men have to pay. So I watch it, man. I do, and this year I don't know. It kind of hit me a little deeper. Probably because I watched it on HBO and there's no cuts. You know what I mean? Like when you watch on the other channels, AMC or whatever, they cut the crap out of it. So, that's right. That's right, Nurse Amy. It's amazing, and I'm telling you, it's a better experience on uncut on HBO. But regardless, if you don't have it and you're watching it on the free channels or whatever, still worth it. Now I don't know what NS is talking about. Oh, at the supermarket, you better. And they were big before, right? What they now like this? Yeah. Um. All right. I see. There's a little communication here, inter-comment board communication. But yeah, yeah. Hey, put down if okay. They shrunk. All right. Yeah. Everything's shrinking. In fact, I didn't even touch the pizza at the supermarket because I just know now we're boycotting those for a while too. But look, back to the shows. Um, man, I ain't gonna lie, Band of Brothers, still touches me. But I took advantage of the HBO, and what I've been hooked on is Mayor from Easttown. Oh, caught the season. Was it the last show? It's not even the season. It's just the last show because it's a mini series. You know, and man, all I can say is because I has anybody not seen the show or at least the last show? Because I don't want to give away anything. So we're gonna try not to because we catch a lot of replays, man, and I really appreciate that. So I'm not gonna blow any of the plots or subplots. Just that I haven't seen a show this good, man, in a minute and in a long time. And what really, really, really kind of blew my mind from the very beginning, besides the fact that it's in Philly, right outside of Philly, kind of like in Easton, um, was how real it looked, how gritty. And it wasn't the ghetto, okay? It wasn't in the city. It was in a suburban, kind of like a ring city, a ring suburban town that they ring these large cities, like where the trains can get to, where you can be a commuter from the suburbs. But it's kind of like still has those cityfied, like the construction brick homes, some row homes, some detached, ranchers, some A-frames. It's like a middle class, but they're like kind of like struggling to stay in the middle class. So that made it kind of real. And wow, how did the people look? People look beat, like they look real, like my family, like me, like everybody around me. They look hurt. They're not in the ghetto. Most of them were in any type of the lower class. Although some, like that working poor, they're hanging in there, but very barely, which is real because we all have, well, most of us have family and friends like that. And I just, the lighting and really, man, like I said, how they just kept it real with the people, with the clothing, wardrobe. I predict, Andre Damas or Dre Damas predicts this is going to win a lot of awards. Because if this show doesn't tug at you, man, you ain't human. You ain't feeling anymore, you know? And you just can't get enough of this show, and it's gone already after 8 or 9 episodes, you know. So, you know, what more can I say? Snack size for your Klondikes, man. We still on that, NS? I got you. I got you. If that's your thing, I'm sorry. I hear you. You gotta laugh to keep from crying, or you're crying and laughing, or I hear you. I mean, I can talk about this show, but we won't because I don't want to get any offline listeners angry, man. But wow, and that's that. I've been on an HBO binge. Maybe just because I got back and I just needed to, because it's been a rough few months. You know how you go on you just go on a work tear. But and I kind of like avoided the TV except for a couple of little shows here and there. But man, HBO got my attention now because that Mark Marky Mark Wartenberger. Well, he's got that show, man. Kind of like about the same name, and it's about really just a camera following him because he has all these businesses. He has like I don't know 10 or 12 businesses or more. So he's got a couple of young kids, married, making movies. Sometimes he's gone for 4 months, which I don't understand that, and still be married. But that's, I guess maybe the money helps. I don't know. Maybe somebody can chime in. Does money help a marriage? Help you stay in it? If your partner's gone away, if they're multi-millions, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a multi-millionaire, so what do I know? But anyway, so it was like one of those shows. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to watch it, because I watched the first episode, and then it hit me because they put the date was like October of 2019, and then I was like, whoa, he's going to smack into COVID. COVID's going to smack the living crap out of him. I got to watch now. So it goes into October, and then I think in the back you might hear, I think it was November or no, early December, they talked about there was 2 cases of COVID in Wuhan. And then I'm going, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. There's going to be some binge watching. And then he got the SmackDown, man. And all his stores, he had like 36 Warburgers. Yeah, Warburgers. I was saying Warburgers, but it's Warburgers. All 36 were shut down because of COVID. He was buying into a gym. Had 1,500 locations. Well, you know what happened with that. And I'm not gonna give away the rest. It's just it's real stuff. So, but it's just fascinating because you see it in real time. Like, wow, man, he's getting hit with these calls, a number of bad news, and everything is about him putting money out of his pocket. So as you think you may have problems, and we all got problems, they're big, relative, right, to us, He's got mega problems because he did some really screwed up. And guys, if anybody out there wants to get into business in any respect, commercial business, this is a good one to watch because he made so many mistakes that I've recognized before the COVID. I'm going, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have done that because I was in business before and I have a business now, and I'm starting up another one. I'm getting out of my real estate and I'm starting up another one right now, a marketing agency. And then you see the mistakes and you're going, oh, poor guy. Oh, poor guy. Here it comes. And then it came. And then the season stopped filming because of COVID, the second shutdown. I was like, I want to see more. So there you go. I'm hooked on that one. And you see, check comments here. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't scroll down, guys. Yo, Kate Winslet. And she's executive producer. She's got a piece of this, man. Good for her. Forget it, man. That girl's gonna take home she's gonna take home an armload of trophies, I'm on episode 1. Okay, and that's Wayne. I ain't trying to screw it up for you in any way, okay? Wahlberg, thank you. And Wall Street is the show. Wow. It's late, guys. Let me drink some more of I'm not sponsoring this anyway, so I'm not gonna tell you what I'm drinking. It's just an energy drink. Delicious. Yeah. Oh my God. I can't believe you're on one. I don't know how somebody can sit down and just watch one show. I think you do 2 or 3 at a time. But hey, have fun. I envy you because that's how good the show is. Yep. Okay. So let's move on to my next show. I never talk about shows, guys. I know, but this is my little escapism for now. But I like those business shows, the ones that are more like kind of like connected to the truth or in reality, a little gritty. But this one ain't so gritty. It's Bethany Frankel's show. She's trying to hire a new vice president of operations. It's good. It's good. This is just, it's a funny show. I'm not going to get too much into details. I don't want to make accusations. But it was funny how, like, during the show, whatever, a couple of people she got rid of, and then she brought back a couple guys. Like, she brought one guy back and got another new guy in there, and then they both went and this and this. And I think, and I'm not trying to read her mind because the women contestants, they're amazing. They really are. But I think it gets to the point when I saw them really, like, talking about their children. And I think she was going, yeah, I need somebody that's not gonna be so connected to their children, like an empty nester. I'm going, yeah. I got you. Like, oh, my kids. I was like, yo, I wouldn't talk about my kids so much. She needs someone to be around her kind of like all day. So I'm watching that for that drama. It's kind of interesting, to see how she deals with that, because that's the biggest problem, right, in America when it comes to the workforce. Like the poor women and some dads out there, right, have to stay home and take care of the kids until they can get back into school. With this COVID stuff, full time. So that's a tough dynamic to play. And this show looks like it was filmed just before COVID. I think, yeah, because I don't see any signs of masks or in the streets when it was busy. So that'll be, I guess they couldn't have done that show today. Anyway, that's my HBO stuff. All right. Sorry to have bored you with that, but really, these shows are kind of engaging right now as you try to see how they show contemporary America today. But as you could tell that except for the Mark Wahlberg show, Wall Street, the other ones haven't touched COVID. So I guess they must have just wrapped it up right before it, or maybe during elements during, before and during. Okay, guys, let's move on to the next thing. What are we going to talk about? What are we talking about next? We complained about inflation again. Everything else is going up, up. Yeah, money helps, man. Does money really help a situation? In America, it does. Probably anywhere in the world. Okay. Yes. All right, guys on Facebook. Let me see something here. I want to make sure my Facebook crew sees me. Okay. So what else can we talk about? Anybody got any questions? Otherwise, I'll continue my spiel. All right. Let's talk about today some survival stuff. I did talk about getting a house, man, because that's shelter's number one, right? And um, we will be definitely touching on that more in the future. And like I say, I have a new channel on that, and that's gonna go into a lot of detail. All the different ways that I've actually gotten houses. I became a log cabin certified home builder, legit. You know, bought bought one and helped someone buy a house on auction. You know, and that's real. You save a lot of money that way. Man, all the other ways, going through connections, and I had some victories and some losses on those. It is what it is. What I kicked myself, as we all do, in the tail for is when we didn't ask that one person, that one friend that you thought might be selling soon, and then they sold it off real cheap. I went through that a year and a half ago on a log cabin. No, a year ago. I was like, oh man, this was close to my kids too, man. And I would have had them help me, build it out, like gut it and all that. Would have been a labor of love. Forget about anything like that today. It's way out of my price range. So, those are the things that today, if anything, communication is still key. Just go out there and ask, man. If you want something, ask. I got a comment here from Nurse Amy. Unlike the Showtime show Billions that has still not come back since everything with COVID started. Yeah, it's a lot of shows, right? They had the hiatus and they probably only got 1 or 2 or 3 shows in. They're not going to start the season with just 2 or 3. They probably need at least 6 or 8. Yeah, I agree. But you know what? I don't watch that much TV anyway. So I was just very happy to take this. And I know, like, after I finish off this one show, I'll probably not watch TV for a few months. And that's okay because I can get the grind on. You have to find a way to escape. And vacations. Because I keep hearing the news, Jersey Shore, Long Beach Island, everything's pretty much booked up for the whole summer. Pretty much anywhere in the country that's worth going to this summer, it's booked up. So guys, if you haven't planned your vacation yet, you better plan now. It's now or never. You know, come hold me tight. I know you didn't come here for me to sing. So you better think now, better plan now. And you look, if it requires a reservation, you better be hitting it in the next week or two, and that's probably too late. You know. So otherwise, just buy yourself a new backyard grill if you don't have it. Get something else. Get close to your friends with swimming pools or a beach house, and that's it, right? Or just find a way to treat yourself good, man. Somehow, some way. You know, have your partner learn how to scratch your back or something, and rub you down a bit. You know, get some of those soaps, those fizzy soaps. We have a lot of those now. All right, and have a nice big bubble bath and get a loofah and all that good stuff and some candles. I know it sounds hokey, man, but it'll help you release stress on those hard days. What else? Okay, vacations. What else can we say about vacations? Well, you're not going to come down here in the south because that's stupid to come in the summer. You need to be staying up north. So you can always do day trips, but just understand that traffic is going to be ugly because everybody's thinking like you. Guys, let me check here. Let's see if my cast is going on Facebook. All right. So, what else? Otherwise, let me see here. 8:32. All right. Guys, I think that's really all I have for tonight. I'm going to keep it short. Okay. I had something else, but I put it on another channel here. A list of things I wanted to talk about, but that's okay because they'll definitely transfer to next week. Other than that, let me see here. I want to touch on always want to touch on something when it comes to survive and thrive. That's always my last thing, and chit chat. Survive and thrive. Man, what can I tell you? If you haven't started beefing up, man, your food reserves, I don't want to be an alarmist here, okay? But understand, as you look at the news, you see inflation, okay? We get into a hyperinflation. I don't know what to tell you. You're either going to be ready or you're not. There's not going to be starvation in this country. Okay? Just not going to be starvation in the U.S. But if you're viewing from outside the U.S., I know reality is probably hitting you a different way. But that doesn't mean over here in the U.S. that you're not going to pay double or triple for your food, okay? Look at chicken wings. I have to bring that up. All right, look at potato chips. So I talked about in the past, even the machines to make them. So there's, and I picked up a bag the other day. The bag was this big, but the chips was this big. I was like, I put it back. I'm like, come on, man. Air. So that's again with the silent protest, but that's the reality. You want chips, you're gonna have to. That's what you're gonna have to pay for, you know. And what else? What other thing was also crazy high right now besides the chicken that they warned us about? Now we're looking at pork and beef, but we know that could get resolved a little bit now with that the fixing of the meat processor hacks. Other than that, you look at we can talk at stock markets. Don't get caught in a scam, guys. Scams are very high. I catch a lot of them on my email, and they're real good. Look at your email. Always look at who is this from. If they say they're from any company, that company's it's got to be that company.com and the email sender, whoever sent it to you. If it's somebody's name, some crappy site, you just report that as spam and ignore that. I feel sorry for people that get caught in this stuff, man. But what you're going to do? This is how people outside the country and a lot more inside are making their money, and the scams are getting really, really good, and they're profitable. Okay, survive and thrive. What else can we talk about today? Everybody thinks there's a stock crash coming. Like I talked about before. Doesn't look like it, huh? So that's not in your budget. I got you, NS. Not in your budget. So understand too, if you're looking for now, this is something that me and my loved ones, a couple of my loved ones, we get into these conversations about retirement because we're Gen Xers. And I just saw in fact, I saw something on that show today on Bethany Frankel's show where one of the contestants, a Latin woman, and she was crying. She was crying about, I got to take care of my mom. I got to build a retirement for her. And she looks like she's a single mom with 2 kids. And I'm like, who told you you had to do that? What are you, like Social Security for your parents? And look, we all have the same issues. For a lot of you people, parents have probably done the right thing. They worked, they saved, all that. But then for a lot of us, our parents did not do that. So now, you're looking at your kids, right? Raising them, maybe trying to pay for post-secondary education. And then now you're putting that on you. Why? Because you were born. If you had parents and they were adults, and regardless of their choices and situations, this woman was crying. I was like, really? Man, as long as you can give them a bed and food on their plate, that's all you got to worry about. Anyway, so that's something that I talk about a lot, like with those close to me, and because we always talk about Gen Xers, how, and if you're not a Gen Xer, I apologize, but maybe this will give you insight into how we think and what we worry about. We worry about retirement, especially if you're my age and in approaching your 50s, if you're in your 40s, especially if you're in your 50s, you don't have time. You have very little time. And then those moves they're crucial, and you can't make any mistakes. Young people, hey guys, you got time. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be on it now. So it's just that, again, that comes up in my conversations too many times during the week. But that may not be a bad thing, guys, because if that's what it takes to keep you aware of it and get your butt on it, and if you're working and you got to start a second grind, and if you're semi-retired or retired, you got to get back on your grind, that's a good thing. All right, because it's like right now, nobody wants to work. Oh, that's what we haven't talked about. Nobody wants to work. Bonuses like crazy, right? There's all kinds of money. Like, I can't believe that stuff. I always say, man, if I was in my 20s or in my teens, I'd be all over that. I'll work all your jobs. What a good time to start working and get ahead real quick, man. Get a promotion or two because no one's coming in. Now you're that Johnny on the spot. You're the hero, the company hero. Yeah, find something. Let me tell you though, you give me some. One time I had a Godiva. I think it's from Haagen-Dazs. I had a Godiva brownie fudge sundae. Yeah, that was like that was a vacation. That was like a 20-minute vacation for me. Well, Nurse Amy, I hear you. Do you? Do me? I hear you. Okay. Ordering out's very expensive. I don't even look. I'm to the point now, even I was just traveling and the food sucks. Or it was long lines for crap. So I just ate a lot of snack cakes and whatever. And what did I do that was actually decent? I had a Burger King in South Carolina that didn't really suck. Everything else, like, oh man, you know. And long lines for chicken. Damn, chicken places. But I hit Bojangles. It was good. They're usually good. And that southern style, like people just treat you kind of nice too. It wasn't a Northeast Bojangles. Not that you see them up there. But takeout sucks and no one is working to get any fast food. Oh, guys, I didn't have my slides ready and I had all the pictures too. Yeah, man. Thanks, Nurse Amy. 1969. Yeah, I went to get my lady vanilla coffee, frozen coffee of some type. And the sign was on the door at Wawa's, beverage station down or closed. I was like, what? They're telling you right up there. Beverage station closed. And I walked in there. All that stuff was closed. They were still making some sandwiches, I think. But I didn't hardly see any employees. They didn't have my cheddar jalapeno pretzels, and I really thought that the end of the world was coming. You know, but that's what we have now. I mean, that's why it's not sketchy just to go to restaurants. You know, and really, if you can't walk in sometimes, I don't want to get it, because if I can't see how your bathroom is and who's working back there and how they're acting, I'm concerned about the quality and the safety of that food. You know. Oh man, I had a picture too, guys. I apologize, but I on my way back I hit a Taco Bell. I swear to God, I asked for 6 sauces. They gave me like 15, and they gave me like this much in paper napkins, and I'm going, dude, I've never gotten that many, and I wonder, like, aren't you trying to help your employer save a little money? I think it's just protest. You know? So, not that we're trying to bitch on any certain class of people here, but they're saying we got something to say. But you know what, guys? I actually think we're in the middle of a national strike. Serious. As I was driving up and down I-95 and had all that time to think, you know, I just think that there's a national strike going on, and it's just not being said, obviously to us. Okay, I think there's something going on where they're saying we're not going to work, and if they're not working on by Memorial Day weekend, guys, you think they're going to work during the summer? And now, I mean, I don't know. Now that they're cutting back the unemployment money, all that extra stimulus pay, let's see what happens. Let's see if they start to come back to work. But my fear is that if this silent protest, my definition, my words, doesn't stop, a lot of businesses are going to go out of business. They're going to collapse. Now, when a lot of those businesses collapse, and then you might have let's say, something happens with the economy where the availability of funds to start up businesses may not be there. What's going to happen when they want to go back to work and there's no jobs? How about those protests? So that's actually my fear, guys. Oh, wait, we're gonna back up. Mm-hmm. Can that be true? Has me thinking. Just because I haven't heard it in the news doesn't mean that it's not true. And if you think, and I just read today, was it an appellate? It wasn't an appellate court. Was it a Supreme Court about decision was that they can continue to that they put a hold on the evictions. Remember, there was an appellate court that says they can continue, and I think they stopped it today. So there may not even be evictions. Look, I don't have people to evict, so I'm not in the game. I don't have any skin in the game. Okay? But imagine those millions of people when they're getting evicted. And I mean, I don't know how they're going to make this work. But then you also got landlords that are going on 18 months without rent. I was talking to my contractor. He has a client with 300 units. And he said most of those units are not paying. Almost all of 300 units this poor guy has. I know you guys will say, oh, he's not poor. He's got 300. Hey, he's going to be joining Mark Wahlberg real soon when you're putting out money like crazy and nothing's coming in. Okay? Can you imagine that? So, wow. All right, politicians, put on your thinking caps. Do you know they're all holding up for another bill? Of course they are. But can you blame them? Can you blame them? The politicians have showed them the way, right? It worked once, it will work twice. I don't know. Who's the dummy here? The one paying the rent? Like me? Or the one that's, going on a whole year or more of not paying rent and taking advantage of forbearance? I kind of feel like the sucker here. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. Oh well, that's also they're not getting their college paid off because it's not in the new budget. New budget's been released by the White House. Okay, I heard it today. It's not in the budget, so they're not getting their college paid off. Hey, I'm waiting on the new protests. Okay, like I say, I'm not singling out a certain generation really, because when I saw a protester, I saw them from all ages up to 50 or so, you know. But I don't know. Again, like I say, many shows. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to resolve this issue. All right. Are you going to keep stiffing it to the landlords? Although there's some relief is coming up, but just because some relief is coming out, it hasn't reached the landlords. Are we going to go past 18 months, no evictions? And what happens if the folks out there with student loan? Because remember, there was almost like a promise that there was going to be student loan relief, right? And there hasn't been. So if you're one of those that thought, hey, I'm going to stop paying my student loans because I know some relief is coming, and now you know because it's not in the budget. There's not in the budget for next year. There is no loan relief, student loan relief. What do you do now if you're behind? Because you can't go bankrupt. Remember, during the Clinton administration, they changed the bankruptcy law so that you can't get out of your student loans, and that affects your credit big time. So, like I said, it seems to me like by every month it just gets worse. You know, yeah, I don't even know where to go there because really this inflation stuff is scaring me a bit because whatever monies I got coming in, there's no cola, cost of living allowance. Some people get it, and some don't. So I'm seeing every month my money coming in shorter and shorter. Okay, from one of my pools of money coming in. That's a concern, And if you're a semi-retiree or if whatever income pools you have coming in, they're dependent on inflation, and you see we're almost touching hyperinflation. Your money is shrinking, and you got to live on that amount. Remember, it's shrinking, but when you go to the store, everything is shrinking too, and prices going up. But the value of the money you got coming in, and if you haven't planned in any of your retirement buckets, I love the bucket system when you should have around 5 buckets, right? You might have a pension plan, you got your 401k, you got personal savings, you got your own real estate, and then you have anything else that might be considered an investment. But when a lot of those buckets are being eaten up by inflation, I hope you plan for that because that's your money shrinking. Okay. And that's where I'm at. So it's a concern. See what we got here, guys. I don't know about all that, but maybe it's true. All right, guys, don't get started. Don't get started now because we're about to be ending soon. All right, so hey guys, 9:50. You know what? I'm gonna start to wind this down. I'm so glad you came out. And if you're catching this on the replay, I really appreciate it, guys. The numbers are getting better every week, and it's made me very happy. It's why I'm still doing it. In fact, we got a few new channels coming up, so I'm glad that you have tolerated me during this time today, and really during the last weeks, few months that I've gotten that I've tackled this. I've kind of like enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And that doesn't happen without you. So like I want to finish off with some books. I already told you about whatever how you say it, frugal. I think it's frugal whatever. Make me a better cheapo. This is a book from back in the 80s, man. Art Williams. I remember I used to sell insurance for his company. And it was a dope ass thing. It was awesome. It was term policy. It was the cheapest you pay, and it had great protection. And then it was bought up by Primerica, and then whatever. I left, but this book was all about like his whole thing was push people to do better than you. Like underneath you push them up, and they pull you up with it. Always from the 80s stuck to that concept. Whether it I got rewarded or not. And here's another one, man, by the Chick-fil-A guy. I remember when I said, hey, I want to buy the book at the store. They all thought I was crazy. They had to go in the back and get a copy. And I loved it, man. It's, this guy opened up, took over this little tiny roadside diner, man, in Georgia. And he had a chicken recipe, or they bought a chicken recipe. No, he had a chicken recipe. And it was him and his brother. And then I think he eventually bought his brother or whatever. But, Troy Caffey, man, look what Chick-fil-A is today, And they all had humble beginnings. So, and that's you take it easy, all right, with that. Just take it easy. Thank you, Nurse Amy. Love you. And worst time to be a landlord? I don't know. We could talk about next week, because I can tell you that equities are rising. Think about it. Now, you're getting screwed if you have tenants that aren't paying. But if you're able to work with your tenants, and a lot of landlords are getting their tenants to pay part of the money, and then with some of the government funds coming in to help you with that, it may work out. But look, if you have property today, it's going up tremendously. All right. So that's another way that you have one of your buckets is, if it's real estate, it's going up. So yeah, you're taking a hit, right? And you write that off on your taxes. That business hit from renters not paying. But when it comes time to sell that building, the money's there. And that's why in business, to include real estate, you usually get ahead. In the meantime, you're writing off all your expenses. I don't know. So there's, they said there's many ways to skin a cat, more than one way to skin a cat. Apology to the cat lovers out there. But, that's one of those things that I, talking about that I want to bring out, and thank you for thank you very much for posting that. Okay, guys, there's more than one way. And I will post a video, because that's actually almost done on Crash Tribe, as we come out with the learning platform for that. Okay, guys, so hang in there. I ain't gonna tell you to pay your mortgage, but if you don't pay your mortgage, one day you're gonna be out of your house. And that's it. Okay, you have a good night. Like I always say, I love you, because it's wonderful to be alive and spread love, and to receive it. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you're there. And we'll talk same time next week. And if this time doesn't work for you, let me know in comments. All right. Good night.